For over 6,000 years, human history has been shaped by the rise of cities. British historian Ben Wilson's enlightening and entertaining book, Metropolis, A History of the City, Humankind's Greatest Invention, is a thrilling tour of over 24 cities and thousands of years of urban innovations, from medieval Baghdad to Belle Epoque Paris and 21st century megacities Lagos and Karachi. In today's interview, Wilson discusses his ode to the world's greatest cities, the challenges they've faced, and how cities drive civilization forward. Wilson is joined in conversation by Robert Lewis, professor of urban planning and development at St. Louis University and director of the Community Planning Lab.
Ben, first of all, what's your background and motivation to write Metropolis?
Well, I've been a historian all my working life, author of several books. And I kind of got sort of brought to the city and urbanization because a lot of the subjects I studied involved cities, how cities worked. Lately in my career, became more interested in patterns of global trade and exchange, and centered around very dynamic urban environments. Particularly, I'm thinking about in the 19th century, with the growth of big American cities, growth of cities like Shanghai. And so all that research took me to the idea of a global city, or the idea of a metropolis that has a kind of almost disproportionate power in its own time and is able to connect across globes, across societies, draw people to it, tell us bigger pictures, bigger stories about the particular times that they thrive and flourish in. So I took that as a starting point for Metropolis. And the more I dug, the more it took me back to the origins of cities. And I find cities personally fascinating places. And part of me wonders what makes them tick. How do we kind of survive this kind of concrete jungle? Mm-hmm. I was looking for things that were specific about cities in their times, but also there's kind of universal stories that those cities, whether it was ancient Rome or ancient Baghdad or London in the 17th century or whatever city it happened to be, what story it told us more widely about urbanization, why we got there, what makes a successful city, why they can be, places of incredible growth and flourishing of ideas. Other times they go into periods of decline. So that's what I wanted to pick out in the book, was to tell this story that I think, has its origin 7,000 years ago, but each city in turn that I write about has a kind of has a general, a universal theme that we can sort of help inform our thinking about cities today.
And cities, you point out time and again that there are also places of loneliness, anonymity, isolation, while at the same time being exciting places for collisions of ideas and inventions.
I wanted to sort of capture in this book this idea that cities are places of sensuality, enjoyment. They're places where people come together, bring food, bring entertainment, culture, all those kind of things make cities an enlivening place to be. I mean, this isn't simply a book about cities as cradles of power and inventiveness, that the city can bring people of different minds, different inclinations together to become places where you explore different things, like sexuality, for example. That's a big part of cities, to explore culture, to explore new ideas, whatever that might be. It is a great place where people can thrive, but it is, as you say, a daunting environment in which to survive. So a lot of the book subsequently, especially subsequent parts of the book, are about how we've kind of negotiated, especially as they've become larger. And when they become large, they become complex. They often come cut off. Compact cities through most of history were in quite close communion with their countryside, with their hinterlands. Suddenly, as cities become bigger, you cut people off, and you do become kind of lost in this kind of urban environment.
I hope those who are paying attention here realize your passion. It's astounding. It's not only in the way you speak about cities and their history and their evolution, but it's in the book. You read the book and you're captured because the passion is there. It's great storytelling as well.
Scan the QR code on your screen with your phone's camera to watch the full interview and find out about the first city in human history, or just head to hecmedia.org.